Hey guys, welcome back to another action figure review. Another Cosmic Legion figure is up for review today. From the Oxkrewe Series, we have Vellok Speer. We have a large green and purple cardboard box with the large window displaying the figure and all of the accessories and the Cosmic Legion logo along with the digital picture of the figure. A massive checklist covers the entire back of the box, featuring small pictures of each character released so far. On the side of the box, we have a few short paragraphs on the lore of Vellok Speer and a small picture of the figure up top. Over at the other side, we have lore on book 1 of the Oxkrewe series with a short bit of lore written on the side. Cosmic Legions are easy to remove from the cardboard box, letting you slide out the entire tray in one simple pull without having to tear anything open. As the designated pilot of the reclamation vessel Korgonox, Vellok Speer is the unofficial leader of the members on board the ship, who are known as the Oxkrewe. Vellok was the first to regain consciousness after the Korgonox crashed into the unknown planet. Working quickly, he regrouped the few survivors of the crash and gathered whatever pieces of wreckage he could get from the spaceship to form a makeshift camp. Unknown to Vellok Speer, not only did the alien wildlife of the planet notice the crashed ship, but also scavengers and the local raiders. As the leader of the Oxkrewe, Vellok promises to keep the remaining 6 survivors safe and protect the makeshift camp until they can be rescued. Let's check out some of the details of the figure. A tanned orange skin, bald head, and long claw-like facial markers that wrap around the head of the figure give him a distinct human but alien look to the face, with glowing solid yellow eyes and a large brown beard that details the rest of his face. We can see those large red facial markings wrap all the way to the side of his head, where we can get a better look at the pointed elf-like ears and the large scar on the side of his cheek, resembling a large crack in the skin. Over at the back of the head, the large blue collar of the spacesuit covers up most of this area here, where we can only see the top of the head where some of those markings merge into each other. The heavy-duty spacesuit is painted in a bright blue color, with its large sections of armor covered in steel canisters, each detailed with grooves and ports, with the largest one at the center of the chest. Slightly different from most Legion-style figures, we only have a backpack socket on the body, with the shoulder sockets missing from this unique body sculpt. There's not much detail here except for a few silver rivets and a circular pattern around the backpack socket. A small black decal of the Oxkrewe logo can be seen on the right shoulder armor. This small piece is pre-installed onto the figure, unlike most other Legion figures. A small silver port and a few silver rivets detail the small plate of armor. Underneath the shoulder armor, we can get a better look at the biceps, heavily armored in that blue spacesuit with a large 3 printed onto the shoulder. On the left shoulder plate, we have a more clean appearance with more silver ports and rivets. Underneath that shoulder armor, we have a red circle of armor with the decal of the Oxkrewe logo on it. More silver details like rivets and joints detail this area. The spacesuit has heavily armored forearms, with large blue sections of armor detailed with silver rivets and the large port at the center to attach accessories onto. The gloves have more plates of blue armor, with each finger having its own detailed wire and small sections of blue armor. The underside of the forearms are fully detailed and sculpted, with more blue lining on the gloves and large sections of armor on the gloves. At the waist, we have a large gunmetal colored buckle at the center, with more of that heavy blue spacesuit armor underneath. It comes with a belt with many pegs that wrap around the body, that will be used to secure accessories onto the body later in the review. Underneath, we can see the suit of the body, with the futuristic space design to the leathery dark blue material. Around the back of the belt, we have more pegs that go all over, where we can see a better view of the actual belt here made up of many strands of cords. Also seen here is the armor covering up the backside, a large plate of blue and light blue armor. The large robotic thighs of the spacesuit has a ton of panel lining details in the sculpt, with many sections of armor carved into the legs with large silver joints similar to those on the chest. The inside of the thighs have more panel lining and layers of different shades of blue plates. The legs of the suit have small red highlights, large gray tubing, and several silver joints dotted around the leg, with this area being heavily armored, giving it the appearance of a mech suit. The large spacesuit shoes are just as large and armored as the legs, featuring large sections of plated blue armor, machinery, and silver joints. More panel linings and a sculpted rubbery sole detail the bottom of the boots. Let's take a look at the articulation. Starting off, we have a ball-jointed neck peg, with this being the newer style of neck peg that bends downwards and upwards, and the peg here also rotates. Unlike most Mythic Legions, this body type has the shoulder armor already installed, able to only open up and downward until it hits the sculpt. There is a rotating joint for this armor hidden beneath the sculpting that allows you to adjust forward and back, allowing more range in the arms. The arms were a bit stiff to open up, and eventually they will hit the pre-installed shoulder armor. It's the same thing when moving it forward and back unless you adjust the rest of the shoulder armor plates with them. We have elbows that bend inward about 90 degrees before it starts to hit the sculpt. It should be noted that the sculpt has to be rotated into the correct position to get this range. Forearms that rotate, and a very bulky wrist that rotate and can bend up and down slightly if positioned correctly. As we can see, the joints for the hands are a very large bulky orb, unlike most of the other Mythic Legion hands. We have no chest joints or anything special on this body, it's just that standard ball joint at the waist that allows you to rotate and pivot all around until it starts to hit the armor. We have a belt that sits loose. The standard Mythic Legion legs, except for the bulky armor, will hinder most range on this figure, including the backside, where this large plate at the butt will stop any leg range of backwards movement. The thighs do rotate until they hit the backside of the armor. Knees that bend back and rotate until they start getting blocked. Feet that bend up and down and rotate with a joint that twists. Vellok Speer is slightly taller than most other Cosmic Legions, as its new spacesuit body is just massive in size. Just about half a head's worth taller, these figures are on the 1/12 scale, but even for Cosmic Legions, Vellok is a bit larger. Next to Mythic Legions, the biggest difference is the size of the limbs and armor. And while these figures are modular and can swap parts with each other, it's usually the armored sections like the large chest and boots that give a real size difference between them. Up next, we have a few Space Marines, starting off with McFarlane's Ultramarine. In its own special 7-inch scale, we can see just how Vellok is slightly shorter than the Space Marine, and that just goes to show how large Cosmic Legions have gotten. Jim Raynor from NECA's StarCraft series stands just a bit shorter, but just as bulky as Vellok. The StarCraft Marine armor has its own unique look to it, but it's still large and bulky, where both of the scales look fine next to each other. Next to Hasbro's 1/12 scale, most of these figures measure up to about 6 inches along all the characters. And that added bulkiness of Cosmic Legions really makes Vellok look that much more larger compared to what most 1/12 scales are up to. Both Storm Collectibles, Storm Arena figures, and Jada toys are also in the 1/12 scale, but instead of just having everything be 6 inches, we have an actual scale to the character's height, making them under 6 inches that look that much more shorter. And for you import collectors out there, we have a Figma Aqua who looks absolutely tiny next to Cosmic Legions. The same goes for Snail Shell figures, who run on the larger side of import figures and still look small here. Starting off with the accessories, we have an alternate head for Vellok, a helmeted spacesuit version. And for that spacesuit version head, we have a silver visor to replace the face. Swapping out the faces is extremely easy. With 2 large pegs on the faces, they easily socket onto the head and hold on sturdy. Swapping out the heads is easy as well, with you popping off the original and then socketing in the new head. We have a large armored dome that matches the rest of the armor's blue color to place over the figure's head, with a removable clear dome that can be detached. To install the dome, it's easier to remove the clear dome and then snap on the armor onto the chest. You can then attach the clear dome, where they both click into place and hold on tightly. We have a soft plastic rubber tube with each end in the standard peg size used in many of the accessories. Both the figure and accessories are filled with small ports where you can then plug in these tubes and other accessories with the same peg shape. We have a blue mechanical backpack with multiple ports on each side and the front to attach accessories like that tube. Underneath the backpack is an ammo belt port if you had one to install. Like most Mythic Legions, the backpack easily sockets onto the back and sticks on securely. We have a large black flashlight with a clear lens in the front. The bottom has a peg to attach onto any of the ports of the figure, and the back having a socket for the tubing. You can peg the flashlight into many of the ports on the figure to have whatever style you want along with the tubing. We have Vellok's unique reclamation saw weapon, a large two-handed saw where you can customize it by removing the saw and the ammo belt section and replace it with parts if you had any. We have the standard issue Cosmic Legion's pistol with the metallic brown finish and silver highlights. An additional pair of hands, with these set in a grabbing pose without the trigger finger. Like most Legions, it helps if you warm up the socket before removing and installing the hands, but once they're off, they can easily be pegged right in. To fill in all those pegs on the belt, we have a set of grenades, one small and one large. They all have a socket that fits right onto the belt. These grenades fit into the belt loop pegs and stay on securely. Just like the grenades, we have a small and large compartment box that have sockets on each side, one of them for installing the tubing. And we come with several pouches to install onto the belt, ranging from different sizes and styles of pockets. Another amazing figure by Four Horsemen Studios. Vellok Speer really gives off that Space Marine vibe, and that blue paint job really pops and makes him stand out with a great rich blue color. It's surprising to see so much variation in the body and sculpt, and Vellok Speer is definitely an assortment of new parts that we have not seen before. Cosmic Legions has its share of parts being reused in different colors and creative ways, but Vellok is pretty much an entirely new sculpt for this series. While impressive looking, even Four Horsemen Studios couldn't solve all the issues of the bulky armor appearance. It's still modular, being able to be swapped out with other Legion parts, but I feel a lot of these parts were meant to only work with this spacesuit. But I can't wait to see more uses of this suit and what accessories we will get to attach to all those modular ports on the body. With such a large and bulky suit, it's no surprise that this figure is extremely hard to pose in any action pose, as the armor constantly bumps into each other. One other issue I personally had was that the hands are made of a very hard plastic now, requiring me to heat them up in a hot water bath just to install anything into them. We have a good amount of accessories to interact with, and one of my favorites being that flashlight. Being able to install it as a shoulder mounted light or on the wrist, it really gives you a lot of posing potential, and that rubber tubing lets you configure the suit in a lot of ways. The multiple pouches and grenades really let you customize the small details of the figure, and the multiple faceplates is something I really thought was cool. There's a ton of value in this figure. Who doesn't love a set of power armor, especially in this bright blue color? Vellok Speer will stand out in any collection, and not only with that bulky large armor, but with its amazing details and paint. Large and bulky, it's a shame that we can't get more extreme poses, but that goes to say on just about every powered armor figure that I own. And while Four Horsemen didn't solve this issue, it does make up for it with its impressive presence and customization options. One of the best looks and designs for a Space Marine, the classic look fits into Cosmic Legions very well, and with its large bulky size, even fits into other collections as the large armored suit figure. It's a great heavy weapons figure, has a lot of features, and overall just a great figure, even if only lacking in articulation. You'll definitely want to pick up one of the variants of this figure, as there's about 3 of them to choose at the time of this video. Alright guys, that's it for this review. Leave a comment letting me know how you like this figure, subscribe or share this video with your friends to help out the channel.